with 15 bars, 50,000 visitors, and more than 800 real ales, ciders and beers from around the world. Welcome to the biggest pub in the world. It's the Great British Beer Festival Beercast, and here's your host, Marc Phillips.
Hello and welcome to the Great British Beer Festival here at London's Olympia. The doors are about to be open to the public for the first time, but just 5 days ago, this entire area was empty, devoid. There was nothing here whatsoever. Organising the biggest pub in the world is no easy feat, and for the past few years it's been done by the festival organiser Marc Goliath Holmes, and he joins me now.
Good morning.
Good morning. Now, we're just before the festival opens. The last time we were at Olympia was back in 2005. We moved to Earl's Court, which is a much bigger venue. So why are we back here?
The main reason we're back here this year is, well, the Olympics are on, and somebody wanted Earl's Court for the volleyball, so we got chucked out. But thankfully, since we left Olympia, they've expanded it. It's bigger.
People, when I tell them that this event is run and staffed and constructed, and even the security is all done by volunteers, they're absolutely amazed at that.
Indeed, as are the people who work here at Olympia. They are amazed that we're all volunteers. But they quickly get round the idea that because we're volunteers, we're dedicated to the job. We're not doing it for minimum wage, we're doing it for the love of it. And that comes across in everybody's performance, because they do it because they love the job and they want to be here, not because they're being forced to be here and being paid a pittance for doing it.
What do you think is the best thing at this year's event?
The changes we've got this year is, the big change is the CBOB bar, the Champion Beer of Britain bar, so all the beers in the competition on one bar, so everybody knows where they are. They're not going to have to search around the festival for the winner. We know it's going to be popular, and we hope it might catch on. And of course, we've got the new expanded West Hall, which is right up at the back, you can see right up there. That wasn't here the last time we were here, so more room for more seating, more quiet areas, a whole more relaxed festival, hopefully.
Now, somebody told me this is going to be your last year as organiser of the GBBF.
Yes.
Why is that?
Mainly because, I must stress, not because I've had enough of it, but I've got a growing young family. This takes up a lot of my time in holiday-wise, so I need to start dedicating some more of my holiday to my family. I'm hoping still to be here next year, but I'll only have to take half the amount of holiday to do it. And that's mainly the reason. My family is going to come first from now on.
To get your life back.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, what's your favourite pint, as a matter of interest?
Oh, my favourite pint. I couldn't name a particular beer, but if you give me a thick, dark, chewy stout with chocolate flavours in there, that's what I'd go for every time.
Marc Goliath Holmes, thank you very much indeed, and
thank you very much.
Good luck for the future. Now, Marc mentioned that we've got the Champion Beer of Britain competition coming up, and I'm going to find out a little bit more about that right now.
The Great British Beer Festival Beercast from London's Olympia.
This is the giant fridge where all the beers for the competition are stored. As you can see, they're only labelled up with a letter and a number. Nobody, not even the people serving them, knows exactly what's in these casks. So, Chris Day, you're the CBOB bar manager, and how secret are the contents of these fridges?
Very secret. I have a list of beers and I have the codes of the beers, and there's only a couple of people who actually know what's in there.
So everybody else, all the people serving, all the judges, nobody knows actually what's in here?
No, not at all. Not at all. They come up with a code which they give me, and then I will get the beer for that code.
When is it revealed then?
It's all revealed to the judges once the judging is finished. Then they're giving a list of all the beers with the associated codes, so they know exactly what they've had. But that won't actually happen until the winner's announced on the stage by Roger Plotz at 3 o'clock.
The Champion Beer of Britain Awards really is the highlight of the beer drinkers' calendar. Any beer that wins is really shown to be a real nectar, a real god among beers. And what's happening at the moment behind me is they're judging this year's CBOB Awards. Now, chair of the judges is Christine Cryan. She joins us. Now, what is so important about CBOB?
Well, Champion Beer Britain is an award that we work on for 12 months. It's not just here. So we have people who taste the beers, put beers forward. We do regional heats around the country. So to get a beer here, it's got to be consistent for 12 months of the year, which is fantastic. And I mean, what we're really looking for here is a beer that really makes you go, wow, I want to go and buy a second pint of it. And it has such a phenomenal impact on whoever wins it. It can really impact on people's sales. So if you're a small brewery, it can make your reputation.
I was going to say, in the past, when a small brewery has won, sometimes it's been literally 2 or 3 guys turning out a few barrels a month, and they've gone to win Champion Beer of Britain, which is, I would imagine, they're totally unprepared for.
Oh, it does happen. I mean, that's the one thing about it. This is all blind. We've got no idea what we're drinking at all. We don't know which part of the country, which brewery it is. So we're judging big breweries like Fuller's against tiny little breweries that are just one barrel plants. But the one thing about it is that both of them have got to be consistent through the year, otherwise they won't get here. And it has had a huge impact. And I can think of things like Harvester. It made their reputation. Their sales went up 40%. There's the old story which I was saying about this morning with Bateman's, who were actually under threat back in the 1980s, and he couldn't get, George Bateman, who was the owner, couldn't get bank loan from the bank, and actually winning this award enabled the bank manager to change his mind, and the brewery is still brewing today.
So it really can have not just a prestige impact, but a financial impact on a brewery.
Absolutely, definitely. And it means that pubs around the country will look and try and stock it sometime over the next few months. You'll see whatever beer is won around the country, and you couldn't pay for that sort of promotion. You're going to a pub in Aberdeen, you're going to a pub down in Taunton, doesn't matter where, and you'll see the Champion Beer Britain there.
Okay, now behind us we've got all the different tables. They're each judging a different beer style. So what are those styles?
Right, well, to start with, the weakest bit of the category we have are milds. And they tend to be quite lightly hopped, often quite sweet and light in alcohol. Then we've got 2 bitter categories because we have lots and lots of bitters in the UK, and the sort of gravity, the alcohol content is generally up to about 4%, that sort of level. Then we go a bit stronger. We've got 2 best bitter categories, and that alcohol content's to about 4.6%. Then we have the strong bitters, and that's everything up for 4.7 and above. So we can be tasting beers here about 5.5%, which is quite strong at this time of the morning. And then we have a speciality category, and that can be ginger beers, it can be wheat beers, it can be lagers, and that's a category really which doesn't fit into anything else, because traditionally, I don't know, back in Britain, before we started using hops, we used to add spices and herbs to our beers, so that's actually going back a long way. And then the final category is golden ales, and that's actually our light summer type beers.
That's a fairly new category, isn't it?
It is. It's been going now probably only about 5 or 6 years as far as we've been looking at it. But pale ales, pale colour beers have been around a long while. Manchester and Burton-on-Trent sparkling ales were known for their lighter colour beers. So it's nothing new, it's just we've actually picked it up, I suppose. The beers here are much more fruity than those.
Now, each of those categories, there is awarded a bronze, silver and gold.
That's right.
And then the judges have the really difficult task, because all of the gold winners then get judged against each other. And that must be really difficult, because you're judging a really strong beer against a mild, against a speciality beer. How do they possibly find the champion beer out of that lot?
It's about drinkability. We actually have different style guidelines, so if a beer is completely out of style, then it gets marked down. But really, we are a consumer organisation. We're looking for a beer that's drinkable. We really are looking for a beer that we want to go and buy that second pint of. Not second pint, you'd spend the whole evening on.
Okay, so we've got beer in front of us. I have no idea what it is. How do you actually go about tasting and then marking a beer in this competition?
Okay, well, first of all, we look out to the light. So what you're doing is you're spinning the beer around and you're looking for the bubbles coming up. All of those bubbles are natural, they're nothing added. So you can see all those bubbles coming up. Mm-hmm. And is that beer sparkling? Yes, it is. That's what we're looking for. And we'd mark that out 10. Then the next bit is stick your hand over the top, give it a swirl, and stick your nose in. Give it a good swift. Your nose is much more sensitive than your palate. So we're looking for something that's enticing, something that actually will make you want to sip it. Then give it a big gulp. Swill it around your mouth. The palate at the back is where you detect the bitterness. If you're a tea drinker or you're a wine taster, what they normally do is they gargle, and the reason they gargle is that bitterness is most sensitive at the back. But we're consumers, we'd never spit beer out, so we drink it. Then what we do is we wait a few seconds, and the aftertaste. With this beer, it's quite dry, and that's all coming from the hops. But that's a very pleasant aftertaste, and it's lingering. And we'd mark it accordingly. Add all those numbers up, and that's the overall score of the beer.
Okay, and that's what the people are doing behind us.
Absolutely.
And then
lots of sniffing going on, lots of swilling.
So following that, the announcement of the champion beer of Britain will take place. And as I say, we don't know what it's going to be.
No
we don't even
idea.
know what beer style it's going to be.
No.
But we're going to find out in just a moment.
Cheers.
The gold, the champion beer of Britain 2012, Coniston No. 9 barley wine. David, this is a quite remarkable achievement. Tell us a bit about the beer.
It's a barley wine, 8.5%. We brewed it 2 years ago as our sort of Christmas special. It's been very popular, so we continue to brew it, and we think it's a very popular beer and got into the Winter Beers Championship and did well in that. So we're very pleased it's done well today.
Well, many, many congratulations. It's, I think, a unique achievement, and now it's my great pleasure to once again, on the day when Britain has once again won various golds, here is the Gold Award for Coniston Brewery.
Thank you very much, Roger.
Well done.
Roger Prott's editor of the Good Beer Guide, and every beer that took part in the Champion Beer of Britain competition is available here at the CBOB bar, and that's where I'm off to have a pint. So I'll see you next time on the Beercast.
Join the conversation. On Twitter, it's #GBBF. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/Great British Beer Festival. You can email beercast1@gmail.com or visit gbbf.org.uk.